and welcome to the US Open Health Desk, brought to you by the Mount Sinai Medical Center. I am your host, Shauna Ryan. Joining us today is Dr. Alexis Colvin. She is the USTA's Chief Medical Officer. She also happens to be an assistant professor of sports medicine at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Dr. Colvin has been tasked with providing medical care for the players here at the US Open, so nobody knows the physical benefits of tennis better than her. And it really is true that tennis is a sport that can help give you health and fitness for a lifetime, correct?
Tennis is a great low-impact sport. You can do it as an individual, you can do it as a team, you can do it if you're young, you can do it when it's old. I recommend it to all of my patients.
Well, it is a wonderful sport here, and the US Open is a wonderful setting. So we actually want to pick your brain and get some of your medical advice here about some common myths as they relate to health and fitness in the tennis world.
Okay.
Let's start with the first myth, and that is to master a sport, you should only focus on that one sport. Is that correct?
That's false. So if you look at pros in any sport, they're not playing that sport 24 hours a day. It's really important to work on your baseline athleticism, cardiovascular endurance, flexibility, and strengthening, and that's going to help you in all aspects of your game.
The second myth that I want to talk about is all players should play on the same size court. True or false?
It's actually false. You know, the first thing you learn in medical school, or one of the first things, is that children are not little adults. We need to treat them like kids.
Nice.
And one of the important things when you're learning a sport is that they're not going to be playing on adult-sized equipment because they can't necessarily learn the proper technique that way. So kids are now in under tennis competition playing with different sized balls, smaller courts, and then advancing and progressing up to an adult-sized ball and court and racket.
On to myth number 3. Stretching doesn't matter. True or false?
It's important. There's actually two types of stretching, static and dynamic stretching. So with static stretching, it's kind of the way we thought of it in the old times, just holding a pose for a few seconds. Whereas dynamic stretching, what you're really trying to do is work on range of motion and really warm up those joints and muscle groups that you're going to be using in your game.
You know, a lot of times you'll see runners right before they go for a jog kind of do the hamstring stretch. They're just standing there for a second, maybe get some of their biceps. Doing just those kinds of static stretching, maybe that is not the best idea, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's actually been a few studies showing that with static stretching, it actually can decrease your performance because your muscles are not as responsive as with dynamic stretching. So you don't want to do them before a competition because it could affect your performance.
We're moving on to myth number 4. And I love this one because the old adage always is out there, no pain, no gain.
You know, it's funny how long it's been around because it shows you that people still do believe that it's true, even though it's an old myth. Some soreness is not unexpected if you've been playing for a while, but you know, if you are having consistent pain that doesn't get better with rest or anti-inflammatories, if you're having weakness or numbness, a lot of swelling, you really should be seen by a doctor before playing again.
A lot of people will say you can eat whatever you want if you're playing regularly. True or false?
I wish I could tell you it's true, but it's really not.
No.
So it really is important to have the right balance of carbohydrates, fats, and protein. It's a little different for everyone, but in general you want about 50 to 55% carbohydrates, 20 to 25% protein, and less than 30% fats in your diet. And the carbohydrates are going to be your fuel, and the protein is going to help you repair muscle. So good mixes of this would be something like a banana or apple with peanut butter, or yogurt and cottage cheese with fruit. Anything that is a mix of proteins and carbs.
Thanks again to Dr. Colvin, and thank you so much for watching us here on the US Open Health Desk. Do not forget to continue to check the video section on usopen.org throughout the entire tournament for more tips and more health advice from our doctors from the Mount Sinai Medical Center.